Good morning, everyone. From now on, we will begin the graduation presentation of ITC Interpretation School 동탄 2 branch. 안녕하십니까 여러분. 지금부터 ITC 통역스쿨 동탄 2지점 졸업발표회와 졸업식을 시작하겠습니다. 저는 사회를 맡은 신동주 지점장님 제자 이소원입니다. 반갑습니다. 오늘 이렇게 뜻깊은 자리 졸업발표회와 졸업식을 진행하게 되어 매우 영광스럽고 기쁩니다. 이 자리에 함께 모여주신 분들께도 진심으로 감사의 말씀 올리려 합니다. 먼저 저희 선생님들께서는 학생들을 향한 열정과 빛나는 아이디어들을 항상 공유하시고 학생들에게 최선의 교육을 제공하기 위해 항상 최고의 노력을 다하고 계십니다. 학생들의 성장과 발전에 큰 역할을 해주신 것에 대해 깊은 감사의 말씀을 전합니다. 감사합니다. 그리고 학부모님, 여러분의 지속적인 관심과 지원 덕분에 학생들이 열심히 공부한 노력을 인정하고 또 함께 공유할 수 있는 이 가치 있는 순간까지 올 수 있었습니다. 저희가 학생들과 다양한 가치를 체험할 수 있는 기회를 주신 점 정말 감사드립니다. 마지막으로 오늘의 주인공인 우리 학생 여러분, 열심히 노력하여 이 자리에 오게 된 것을 진심으로 축하드립니다. 오늘 이 발표회는 여러분이 지난 수년간 노력한 끝에 도달한 순간이기 때문에 여러분의 삶에서 가장 기억될 순간 중 하나입니다. 영어를 배우는 것은 어려운 일입니다. 하지만 여러분들은 언제나 도전을 두려워하지 않았고 포기하지 않고 최선을 다해 노력해왔습니다. 오늘까지의 경험을 바탕으로 이 시간 이후 또 다른 시작이 되어 미래에 더 큰 성취를 위한 여정을 떠나길 응원합니다. 2025년 졸업발표회와 졸업식은 현장과 온라인으로 동시에 진행되고 있습니다. 아낌없는 격려의 박수와 응원의 댓글 보내주시면 감사하겠습니다. 다음으로 신동주 지점장님의 개회사를 듣도록 하겠습니다. 큰 박수 부탁드립니다.
안녕하세요. 존경하는 학부모님들과 사랑하는 제자 여러분. 처음 우리 친구들을 만났던 그 순간들이 떠오릅니다. 네, 그리고 오늘이 왔습니다. 오늘은 우리 친구들을 위한 자리죠. 네, 마음껏 긴장도 해보고 또 실컷 즐겨도 보고 큰 목소리로 나 영어 이만큼 할 줄 압니다 하고 외쳐주시는 그런 자리 되길 바랍니다. Just who you are yourself, you're already good enough. 네, 이 말을 꼭 전해주고 싶었습니다. 오늘 마음껏 뽐내고 또 우리 학부모님들께서도 마음껏 칭찬해 주시기를 부탁드리겠습니다. 네, 감사합니다.
지점장님께서는 항상 우리 학생들의 영어 학습을 최우선으로 생각하시고 더욱 발전시키기 위해 열심히 노력하고 계십니다. 지점을 이끌어가시는 지점장님의 노력과 열정을 함께 기억하며 감사의 말씀 전합니다. 감사합니다. 다음은 졸업생들의 무대입니다. 다양한 주제들로 발표를 준비했다고 합니다. 그럼 순서대로 소개해드리도록 하겠습니다. 첫 번째 학생은 박정혁 학생입니다. 깊이 있는 지식과 논리적인 사고력을 가지고 포기하지 않는 강한 의지로 한계를 넓혀나가는 정혁 학생을 소개합니다. 큰 박수 부탁드립니다.
Hello everyone, my name is Park Jong-hyuk and I'm in 3rd grade in Dongtan Middle School. Today, I will introduce about the earthquake. First, what is the earthquake? Earthquake is the shaking of the ground, and earthquake, self-earthquake, making building to collapse. Next. And then, where is the start point of the earthquake? The start point of the earthquake is called the focus of the earthquake, and the rock first break point is called the epicenter. Next. Then what happened when earthquake occurred? First, the building collapsed. A very big shaking made building to collapse. And second, many people died because this building collapse debris made people to die. And third, when earthquake occurred in ocean, it made a tsunami. Okay, let me introduce about earthquake damage example. First one is the Great East Japan earthquake. In measuring 9.0 magnitude, and many people died, and it occurred a very big tsunami. And Fukushima nuclear plant was collapsed by this big earthquake. So many radiation released to poor city. Next one is the Pohang earthquake. It magnitude the 5.4 and it collapsed many buildings and 92 people injured and many people get displaced. And as a result, the tsunami was delayed. What should we do if an earthquake strikes? First, don't panic. If you panic, you might not able to evacuate repeatedly. So stay calm and don't panic. Second, drop down your position and minimize to hit by falling object. Third, take cover. Go inside to the bed or the table to cover your whole body from falling object. Fourth, hold on. If you go outside when shaking, you might be damaged to earthquake. So please hold when earthquake stop. 5. Don't take elevator. If earthquake occur, it might be blackout or the machine might stop. So if you take an elevator, your risk if in your stuck inside. So please use stairs to evacuate. 6. Protect your head. Use pillow, cushion, or bags to anything you can shield your head. 7. Stay away from windows and anything can fall. Windows can break when an earthquake and it might be harmed. And some furniture can topple over your head. So please away from them. 8. Turn off the gas and electricity. If an earthquake occurs, gas leaks and mid earthquake and it might be fire. So please turn off and cut off the electricity and evacuate. Next. Then what should we do after evacuate outside? Go to the soccer playground and baseball playground, like no tall building nearby. Next. Then what should we do when we driving? Pull over your car to the roadside and turn on the hazard light like this, and wait inside the car until shaking stop. And how can we evacuate when we are in the ocean? Like this picture, go and follow the evacuation route, or go to the mountain, because if you're near the ocean, tsunami gets strike this ocean. So go up and follow the evacuation route. How can you prepare the earthquake? First, make earthquake resistant architecture. In this building have many metal, and this metal consists of this building. So it is very good to protect the earthquake. And second, memorize the earthquake instruction. By this, we can evacuate if an earthquake occurs. By the way, you know the birds can detect the earthquake. Birds can detect the earthquake. Next, the ultra low frequency wave. The ultra low frequency wave is the very small wave when earthquake occur, but birds can hear and detect this very small ultra low frequency wave. Actually, people can't hear and detect this. Next. Then how about people can detect the earthquake? Yes, we use a seismograph like this. The seismograph machine draw the graph in the picture, like this picture, and we know the magnitude about this earthquake. Next. Then why can't we predict the earthquake? Because earthquake occur in random location, and when and where can earthquake occur, we don't know. So we can't predict it. We can predict it. Next. Okay, I will end my presentation now. It is interesting. I will end my presentation now. Thank you for listening.
네, 발표 정말 잘 들었습니다. 전역 학생이 알려준 대피 방법 덕분에 지진에 대해 더 잘 알고 대피할 수 있을 것 같습니다. 감사합니다. 다음으로 두 번째 학생인 차분하면서 빠른 판단력과 풍부한 경험을 가지고 유연하게 문제를 해결하는 기범 학생을 소개합니다. 힘찬 박수 부탁드립니다.
Hello, my name is Kibon and I am 15 years old and I live in Busan. Today I'm going to present about various carbon. Next. Do you know what is carbon? Carbon is a chemical element and in the periodic table with its number is 6. It means it has 6 protons and electrons each. And we can see carbon very often because carbon is ingredient of almost everything. For example, the organisms is a carbon. Organism is just like human, animals, and even plants. And in the Earth's crust, it has 0.032% of carbon. It is a huge amount because Earth itself is very huge. Next. I will explain about two carbonic substances. First, it is carbon dioxide. Carbon dioxide is colorless and odorless gas, and in the Earth's atmosphere, it has about 0.1%. And it is very helpful to us because it regulates the Earth's temperature. When the sun's ray comes to the Earth, it regulates how much the sun rays goes into the Earth's surface, so we can feel not too cold and not too warm. If there's too much carbon dioxide, the Earth will be too warm, so the global warming will accelerate. Then the sea level will rise up, so the living things on the ice will lose their home, such as polar bears and penguins. If there's too less carbon dioxide, the Earth will be too cold, so we can threaten our lives just like too much carbon dioxide. Next. There are products made like carbon dioxide. First is the soft drinks and fire extinguisher. The soft drinks are made by the carbonic acid, and when we open the soft drinks, we can hear the fizz sound because the carbonic acid is dissolved inside one can, and when we open it, it comes with a huge sound. And also fire extinguisher is made by the carbon dioxide because the carbon dioxide does not burn well in the fire, so we can put out the fire with the carbon dioxide. Next. Also dry ice is made by the solid carbon dioxide. The dry ice has a very low freezing point, about -78.5 degrees Celsius, so we can keep the cold temperature like ice creams. There are another fun fact about carbon dioxide. In one day, we can lose our 1 kilogram of our weight because we breathe out, we exhale the carbon dioxide about 1 kilogram of one day. Next is carbon monoxide. Carbon monoxide is colorless and tasteless and odorless gas. It is very dangerous because carbon monoxide can make people very stressful. Carbon monoxide there are some examples that carbon monoxide comes out a lot, like car emission and smoking. And what there is advantage of carbon monoxide. Carbon monoxide can come inside to the blood, and it can expand the blood vessels, so the blood can flow very well. So it can have a advantage about healing the wound. Next, there are fun facts about carbon monoxide. The canaries, which is the bird, can detect the carbon monoxide. In the 19th centuries, the miners used canaries to detect if there is carbon monoxide underground, and if the canaries dies, they go to another place, another place. Next, there are familiar carbon products. First is diamond. Diamond is a very strong substance because it has pyramid layers, which is very thick. And the second is graphite. Graphite is used to make a pencil. When we use pencil, we can write a letter with very easily, just because it has flat layers. Flat layers means it has a very thin layers, so we can use very easily. Next. In our human body, there is 65% of oxygen and 18% of carbon and 10% of hydrogen. And oxygen can make our energy, and carbon can help us to make many cells. So it is very useful and helps to us. So we have to eat good foods which has many carbon. Okay. Next, just like various uses of carbon, people can be very various. People can be very kind and smart, but people can be very scary and stupid. Just like diverse uses of carbon, the people have an ability to determine what to be. Thank you for listening.
카나리아라는 새가 탄소를 쉽게 감지할 수 있다는 사실이 놀랍네요. 탄소에 대한 자세한 발표 감사합니다. 세 번째로 동탄 2 지점의 큐트 또띠를 담당하고 있는 민서 학생은 오늘 화학개론에 대해 강의한다고 합니다. 조금 어려운 내용이더라도 두 귀를 쫑긋 세우고 들어주시기 바랍니다.
Hello everyone, happy to see you here. My name is Minta. Today I'm so nervous being on the stage. In our daily life, we're living in the world of chemistry. This can be very useful tools in medicine, but it can be misused to poison and terrible bombs. So today, what I'll talk about is chemistry. But I'm sure today my presentation will be very interesting and helpful time to you. Next. The key concept in chemistry is atom. Atom is the basic unit of all material. In the center of the atom, there is a nucleus, and the electron is rolling around this orbit. Nucleus has positive charge, but electron have negative charge. Then, please look at this picture. By using mathematics, we can figure out its modular ratio and volumetric ratio between these three atoms are same. And then let's apply more about isotope. What is isotope? Isotope means the number of protons are same, but their atomic weight are different. I'll give you some example. In this picture, we can note isotope of hydrogen. There is three kinds of hydrogen: deuterium, and tritium. The heaviest hydrogen among these three atoms is tritium. The reason why is because the number of neutrons are highest among these three atoms. But in the world, about 99% of hydrogen is hydrogen which we know in periodic table, not this deuterium and tritium. Next. Then, aren't you curious when dusty atoms are formed? There are lots of hypotheses, but here's one of them. Here's one of them. There is a Big Bang theory. So I prepared a balloon. was made. Then quark was created. Because universe expand, temperature dropped more and more. Then quark combined each other and it became hydrogen. After 3 minutes, the nucleus of helium was created. And before I've told you, because universe expand, temperature decreased more and more. Then after 0.38 million years, helium was created. Also before 0.38 million years, universe was opaque. But after 0.38 million years, universe was transparent now because light was catched by particle. Then, what is the proof of Big Bang theory? Typically, there are three. One of them is about cosmic background radiation. George Gamow said that after Big Bang, light which is emitted will even stay in universe at that time. And this proof became true after some days. Two scientists were studying but an unknown radioactive wave were catching their ears. Even they changed the direction of antenna on their airplane. So they removed the noise from human and from the ground. Then the light which George Gamow predicted was almost correct. So it became the proof of Big Bang theory. Next, I'll explain you about the differences between atoms, elements, and molecule. The number of molecule is 1 of H2O, and the atoms that compose H2O is 2 hydrogen and 1 oxygen. In other words, it means that the element which composes H2O is 2 hydrogen and 1 oxygen. Next. Then, have you ever searched this periodic table? In the world, there is only 118 kinds of atoms, but also there is artificial atoms made by scientists too. Also, in the future, there will be more atoms. Nobody knows yet. There is a secret features in periodic table. There is a period, and when you see this period, the atom which is in the first line, like hydrogen and helium, is composed of 1 ionic shell. When the number of this period increases more and more, the number of ionic shell, the radius of circle, and the energy level increases too. Also, when we see the end of this periodic table, we can see the 18 group, which is noble gases. The biggest property of these noble gases are very stable. So most of atoms tend to be stable like this 18 groups. Then what happens? The way that atoms determine is by combining each other. By combining each other, they get or they lose more electrons. When some kind of atom get electrons, we got cation. But when some kind of atoms lose their electron, we call it anion. I'll give you some example. The chemical formula of salt is sodium chloride. Sodium chloride is composed of sodium and chlorine. The atomic number of sodium is 11, but the atomic number of chlorine is 17. To be stable, the way that these two atoms, as sodium and chlorine, determine is by combining each other. Then they became salt to be stable. Next. Lastly, I'll explain you how can we draw atoms. It's very simple but important contents. In chemistry, we call this octet rule. I'll give you 2 examples of carbon and argon. First, when we see this carbon, the atomic number of this carbon is 6. It means the number of electrons are 6 too. In the first line, the highest electrons can be is only 2. But except this first line, for the next line, the highest electrons can be is 8. So when you minus 6 to 2, it left 4. So it means in the second line, the electrons can be is 4. But when you see this argon, in the first line, the electrons can be is 2, but in the next line, and the second line and the third line, the electrons can be is 8. So there will be no more atoms need or nothing left. So it means the reason why this argon is very stable atom is because the secret of the number of the atoms. Next. Today I've explained you about chemistry, and thank you for listening to my presentation quietly, and I hope you will feel fun learning chemistry from now on. And I'll finish my presentation here. Thank you for listening.
어려운 화학의 기초적인 내용을 쉽고 흥미롭게 설명해준 민서 학생 감사합니다. 마지막으로 지적인 매력의 소유자 국대는 나가지 않을 거라 말하지만 국대만큼 스포츠에 대한 열정이 가득한 공부도 운동도 모두 열정적인 은성 학생의 물리힘에 관한 강의를 들어보도록 하겠습니다.
Hello everyone, my name is Enzo. So before I start my speech, I want to ask you guys some questions. When do you think that you use your maximum power, for example, when you go to the gyms, or when you exercise, how many weights can you lift up, or how many times do you exercise at a time? Like this, in our daily lives, we use our force very much. So what I'm going to tell you about today is force. Next. So first, I'm going to tell you about what the force is. Force is, when you think of the force, what kind of thing pops up? Some people might think about the muscles of the people or lots of things related to our person's muscles or other objects. And also some people might think about the power. Actually, the force and power are very similar to each other, but different idea in physics. So the force's definition is a traction that changes the movement, direction, or structure of an object. Next. So what is the difference between force, power, and energy? These three kinds of things are very similar but different ideas in the physics. So I'm going to tell you about their differences with this picture. So when we look at this picture, we can see the person pushing this wall, and the force is a pusher pull of this object which can make the different directions, the different directions or structures. So we can say that the person is giving the force to the wall, and he makes the force with the energy inside him to push this wall. And the power is how much work did the object did at any time. In this picture, this black line you can see is the how much distance where this wall have moved. So we can say that inside the person there is an energy which is a source of the force. He made the force with this energy. He made the power of this distance that can make the wall to be pushed. Next. So next is the Newton's three laws. These Newton's three laws can help us to explain about the force easily. First law of Newton is inertia. Inertia is the law of the objects tends to do what they are doing. Like when the things are stopped, it tends to be stopped. But when the things is moving, it wants to move. So for example, in the bus, when the bus was moving but it stopped suddenly, maybe you can feel that your body goes forward, and it is because the inertia. When the bus stops, our leg, which is attached to the bus, stops at sudden, but our body, which is moving with the bus, tends to go moving, so it goes forward. Like this, it is because that our body goes forward and the bus stops suddenly. Next is inertia. Next is acceleration. Acceleration is a velocity which is gained when the object starts moving. When the object starts moving, it makes the acceleration. And this acceleration goes up and up when there's nothing that bothers the acceleration, like the friction, which I'm going to tell you about it later, or the other thing like the wall, which is blocking the ball. And last law of Newton is action and reaction. This action and reaction can be easily explained by this ball. So, for example, when we drop this ball, it comes up. The action and reaction is very simple. When the ball hits the ground, it it makes the action of the force, and it makes the floor's structure to be moved a little bit, and this makes the action. Reaction from the floor is that it makes the same force of what it had the force. It makes the same force to the opposite way, and it makes the ball to come upwardly. So now I'm going to tell about the kinds of force. There are lots of kinds of force, but they're too much, so I just got the 4 kinds of the force. They're gravities, friction, electromagnetic force, and elastic force. So now I'm going to tell you about them one by one. The first is gravity. Gravity is a force which everything which has a mass has to each other. Like in this picture, the R pulls us to its center, and the object will fall to the ground, but this object which has a weight also has a gravity, so it pulls the R's towards it too. And it means that our person or the objects also has the gravity, but we can't feel these gravities easily because we have too nice mass, and also distance between us makes the gravity to become lower, so we can't feel this gravity. Next force is friction. Friction is the force which makes the moving objects to be stopped, and like this very bumpy things has more friction. In this picture, we can know about the friction well. When the things weigh less and the floor is very smooth, it makes the lower friction, and it can move very easily and very long. When the object weighs more and has the more bumpy floor, the friction becomes higher, which makes the objects to bother its acceleration. Next force is electromagnetic force. Electromagnetic force is a force which is related to the electrons and the magnetics. So in this picture, we can see these are the iron powders, which shows us how the electromagnetic force are moving. So when we spread these iron powders around the magnet, we can find we can see the iron powders moving like this, and this is the picture of the magnetic field. Thanks to this electromagnetic force, it makes the magnetic field which protects our arms. Last force is elastic force. So elastic force can be also explained with this ball. It is a force which the thing wants to go to its original form, like this in the spring. When we push the spring, it makes the spring to go longer again to make its original form, and when we pull it, it makes the spring to be smaller to get its original form. And when I push this ball, it makes the balls become like this, but when I release it, it goes to the original form. And it is because of this elastic force. So thank you for listening to my speech, and I hope that you have learned lots of things about the force. So thank you for listening.
마지막 발표인 만큼 더 떨렸을 텐데도 다양한 물리적인 힘에 대해 더 잘 알 수 있게 자세하게 설명해준 은성 학생 발표 감사합니다. 이렇게 이번 졸업생들의 발표가 모두 마무리되었습니다. 발표하는 학생들의 모습을 보니 오랜 기간 동안 열심히 노력하며 준비한 것 같았습니다. 많은 사람들 앞에서 발표하는 게 조금은 긴장되고 쉽지 않았을 텐데 멋지게 발표해준 우리 학생들에게 다시 한 번 더 큰 박수 부탁드립니다. 오늘은 발표회를 통해 우리 학생들의 수준 높은 영어를 들을 수 있는 귀한 시간이었습니다. 오늘 발표로 학생들이 또 한 번 성장하고 발전한 모습을 볼 수 있었습니다. 이것으로 2025년 ITC 통역스쿨 졸업 발표회를 마치겠습니다. 이어서 2025년 ITC 통역스쿨 졸업식을 진행하겠습니다. 무대 위로 졸업생을 한 명씩 모시도록 하겠습니다. 호명하는 학생들은 차례대로 나와서 졸업장을 수여받고 사진 촬영까지 진행하겠습니다. 모두 큰 박수로 축하해 주시기 바랍니다. 박정혁 학생, Certificate of Completion, Park Jong-hyuk. This is to certify that Park Jong-hyuk has successfully completed the 12th course in simultaneous interpretation program offered by the Interpretation Training College. 축하합니다. 박기범 학생, 이하 내용은 같습니다. 김민서 학생, 이하 내용은 같습니다. 축하합니다. 김은성 학생, 이하 내용은 같습니다. 마치기 전에 ITC 통역스쿨에 대해서 짧게 소개하고자 합니다. ITC 통역스쿨은 어린이부터 성인까지 모두가 참여할 수 있는 다양한 프로그램을 제공하고 있습니다. 영어를 단순히 기술이 아닌 문화적인 언어로 배우면서 학생들이 능동적으로 학습할 수 있도록 최선을 다하고 있습니다. 또한 학습한 언어를 실생활에서 활용할 수 있는 방법을 제공합니다. 저도 ITC 통역스쿨을 통해 외국인들과 쉽게 소통할 수 있게 되었고 영어의 두려움이 없어지게 된 그 수혜자 중 하나입니다. 여러분도 할 수 있습니다. 다음 무대의 주인공이 되어주세요. 마지막으로 졸업생들에게 몇 가지 남기고 싶은 말이 있습니다. 여러분이 이뤄낸 성과는 스스로의 노력과 가족, 친구, 그리고 선생님의 지원 덕분입니다. 또한 여러분의 미래는 더 큰 기회와 가능성으로 가득 차 있습니다. 이번 졸업 발표회가 여러분들이 더욱 성장할 수 있는 기회의 발판이자 꿈을 향해 달려나가는 과정이 되었으면 좋겠습니다. 여러분은 이미 영어의 중요성을 알고 미래로 가는 문을 열었습니다. 이제는 그 문 밖으로 나아가 세계와 소통하고 더 큰 꿈을 향해 나아갈 시간입니다. 행복한 삶의 비결은 성취에서 나오는 것이 아니라 성취를 향해 나아가는 과정에서 찾을 수 있다고 하죠. 이번 발표회가 여러분에게 그런 순간이었길 바랍니다. 졸업생들의 모든 꿈과 희망이 이루어지길 간절히 바라겠습니다. 이상으로 졸업 발표회를 마치겠습니다. 감사합니다.